What up, y'all? Bonsoir. It's Thursty Thursday. How is everybody? We're here for our weekly romance oracle reading, our love reading using the Romance Angels Oracle. Hope everyone is well. I am. I have just been doing the last 2 days, just doing like those adulting things that just make you feel, and you know me, I'm an ethereal wisp, not very grounded in the ways of the earthly systems. So those are always like very stressful and heavy. Although I am competent at them. Like I can do my own taxes and like things like that. But like it's just, like it's torture every step of the way. I'm a real wuss about stuff like that. I just like to be creative and live in the ethereal realms. And I know, I do all my earthly stuff too. It just comes less naturally, I guess. So in order to get myself into a better mood for our romance reading, I actually just was watching some YouTube clips of Ari Shaffir. I love when he tells stories on, like, he started the show called This Is Not Happening. And it's where he has like comedians come on and tell like true stories from things that have happened in their lives that are funny stories. And so he tells a bunch of stories. And I just have like this comedy crush, but also just like a literal crush on Ari Shaffir and Moshe Kesher. They're both really super hilarious. But I was just watching Ari Shaffir's latest special called Jew, and it's on YouTube for free, and it is so amazing. I highly suggest watching it through all in one sitting, because you just miss out on the whole experience when you don't do it that way. It's like each moment primes you for the next moment, and it's like such an amazing, artful, full piece to be appreciated, like just as a whole in general. But it is kind of like one of those things where it's like a masterpiece. It'll go down in his career or in his portfolio is probably one of his best pieces of work. So our first card is Deception. Someone is wearing a false self mask in this relationship. Someone is wearing a false self mask in this relationship. So someone is presenting to you in a way that's not accurate. They are not who they appear to be, or they're not how they appear to be, or something is off. It could be somebody is like lying to you straight up, but sometimes this is more like you think somebody seems one way, but they really are another way. Or they're wearing a mask, so they're hiding their true intentions or their true feelings. So maybe, that can, like, what an example of that would be is if somebody is, I don't know, I guess dishonest about how they feel, but then they act like they feel one way, but they, there's so many ways people can do this now, like love bombing. I was being love bombed once, and I didn't know that was a thing. And I called the guy out on it early in the relationship, and I was like, I think you're just doing this to, like, smooth things over when, like, you're, like, I'm, like, displeased with you, or, like, like, make me more pliable or whatever. Like, I didn't know what love bombing was, but I basically called him out on it and defined it exactly. And he was like, no, oh my God, like, I can't believe you would think that. And then he got aggravated, like I was in the wrong, and then I was gaslit, and I didn't know what that was either. So it's like, oh my God. So, there's different ways people can be deceptive towards you, or just kind of like hide how they really feel. Sometimes people really like you and they hide it because they don't know how you feel, or they don't want anything right now. Sometimes people don't like you, or they don't have any intention of going any further, but they pretend like they do because they want to get, immediate gratification, So it's like, just be aware that sometimes appearances can be deceiving, or there's more going on than meets the eye, or someone's putting up like a false bravado, but all is not as it seems. Let's just put it that way. All right. Does it get any better? Let's see. Ooh, worth waiting for. Ooh. Divine timing is at work in your love life. So maybe, maybe there's a negative voice telling you this whole narrative about how a situation is playing out and why. And maybe it's just the voice of your ego lying to you. Maybe the trickster in the situation is maybe the call is coming from inside the house, right? So be aware of that and just take things with a grain of salt right now, either way. And don't trust until trust is earned, right? Be logical watching someone's investment in you, right? Be emotionally detached as you observe and see how things play out if you're trying to get a feel for the temperature of the situation. There is divine timing at play. So maybe, you've worked yourself up into a narrative that isn't really true, and you're just deceiving yourself, and really the situation is all about timing. Either way, even if this is a terrible toxic situation that shows up that you're like, oh, thank God that I saw this and it was all exposed, timing is going to protect you. So trust timing, have patience, and having patience is a lot easier if you can trust that anything that is happening, anything that is put on pause, anything that is that falls through or whatever, it's always in your highest good. And it's so hard to trust that sometimes, or pretty much every time. But the more that you can choose actively to trust, and that's what it is, really. I think we think that when we develop trust one day, it's just going to be like, it was just going to come as a reflex. And I think that it's more glamorous to hope for that Disney version of trust. But really what trust is being scared every single time and confused and uncertain, and making the choice to trust and to choose to be at peace and to trust the timing and to be patient with it, and understand that things that are playing out are in your highest good. And so if something like needs to come up and expose this deception, ask for that, pray for that out loud. Like, show me any deceptions that are around me, right? And help me know that I'm trusting that I'm being guided every step of the way, and timing is at play in the situation. All right, what else do we need to be aware of this week that will help us in our love lives? Ooh, getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So maybe this is a little push and a nudge towards you as well to be... Sometimes it feels good as a defense mechanism to put on a mask. It's easier that way, right? That's what our ego says. That's how our ego tries to protect us. But really, we miss out on getting to know someone for real and them getting to know you for real, because you're not being open or real or authentic. So allow yourself... Like, if you're trusting in the timing of a situation, then you can just go do something else, and you don't have to worry about putting up any deceptive energy. Just do your own thing. And then when the opportunity presents, if and when, don't have a false mask, and be aware that others might as well, but be willing to get to know the real person. That means that you're not deceiving yourself about who they are. like putting rose-colored glasses or like projecting what you want it to be on them and like twisting around like what they're doing and saying. So be honest, like really see who they are when they're telling you who they are. And also be your true self with them. And so it's like you can't really find an authentic match if you're not being authentic. You have to be in the vibration of like your true self in order to, match and stay in resonance with someone who's their true self too. So maybe, there's a situation where you've met a person and you've like at a certain point in time when you guys were vibing authentically and it was like a go. But then like somebody in the situation short-circuited and their shadow started getting the better of them, and then like things were a no-go after that. Have you ever had that happen? It's because like, when you're in your core strength and your authentic self and you're relaxed and you're open and you're being real, you're in a natural state. You're in a natural vibration for yourself, right? And so as long as you can maintain that stability without flying off the rails, you're good to go. But it also requires that other person is not flying off the rails. It's a miracle anybody. Like usually what keeps people together is codependency. That's why it's like, why is it when you start becoming spiritual that like dating gets even harder and harder? It's because like you're not willing to just like have the warm body syndrome anymore. So you're like, no, it really has to be a match and it has to be authentic. So it's like the energy levels or like everything gets heightened a little bit. But yes, getting to know each other. Also, take your time while you get to know someone, right? The right relationship is worth waiting for. And it's worth taking it slow, getting to know a person, because you definitely do not want to start getting involved with someone who is not who they appeared to be in the beginning. And most people, or there are a lot of people who present a version of themselves in the beginning that they think that the other person wants to see. And then once the other person is invested, then they start slacking off, right? And so that is an example of how some people can be deceptive. That's why you want to take your time and slow down, because that weeds those people out, right? A person who's really interested will be down with like going slowly, incrementally, and gradually continuous forward pace and getting to know each other better and better, right? That helps, like taking it slow, it helps build a foundation to where every step of the way you're like, oh yeah, I do want to go further. I do want to take another step forward, like, and who the person really is before you get a situation that's not going to be healthy or compatible because you rushed in. All right. That's pretty good advice so far, if I do say so myself. All right. And then what's our last card for the week? Ooh. You deserve love. Thank you. It's so nice of us to end with a little cherry. We are lovable. And so knowing that you are lovable and that you deserve love, it helps you have the self-worth and the trust and the the boundaries with yourself and others, and the self-trust and the discipline to take it slow and to allow people to earn your time and your energy and your emotional investment and your trust, right? And so just stand in the power of knowing that you deserve love. Make that your core starting point. And it will help you remember that someone who is all about you is worth waiting for. And you deserve that for yourself. And so it's about setting boundaries with yourself, that you're not going to settle. You're not going to reach for instant gratification for a warm body partner. You're willing to like give it time to meet the person who's like, oh my God, I can't believe someone like you could really exist. I just didn't even allow myself to imagine. You deserve love. You are lovable. And that person will match your energy. And they will be like, oh my God, I'm all my life. I didn't know you could be so wonderful. Just hold out. Worth waiting for. Take your time getting to know each other. Because you never know who's going to be... You have to take your time to really see through, first impressions. And I mean, you can have negative judgments about someone too. You could assume bad things about them as well as good things. So, we have to take our time getting to know people because there are projections going in both directions, right? And, people are putting up their best foot forward and, all of that stuff. It's really complex and complicated and layered. And on a spectrum too. I mean, not everyone is like a deceitful liar, right? This is a spectrum card as well. It's not like, it's very, very dark, very bold, very like, but I mean, it's just not everything might be as it appears to be. And that could be because of your own like illusions. There's things going on with Neptune. Neptune has been in retrograde and it's going direct, and I can't remember when that is, but I was just listening to somebody talking about it, and they mentioned something that's very comforting. They were like, if you've had like these delusions of like scary things recently, like it's probably been an illusion because of that being in Neptune being in retrograde and going direct again, like in the placements that it was in. And so, she mentioned, she was like, it could all have just been nothing. You might find that it was all just like you were worried for no reason. So that could be the case too. Either way, slow is better. The right thing is worth waiting for. And you deserve love. And you are lovable. And if someone isn't sure about that, then it's not right for you. Because you want someone who's definitely 100% on board. Have a good night. Oh, I'm going to put up my Christmas tree tonight, finally. It's finally time. I'm going to do that as soon as I upload this video. And yeah, and just have some wonderful leftovers. I made this like dish that I like to make. It's with ground turkey and ginger and garlic and cilantro paste and some cumin and paprika and mustard powder and chickpeas and then fresh cilantro. And you bring like skillet grill all of that, like saute it, and then you serve it over rice with some like fresh cilantro. And if you want like a little squeeze of lime, but absolutely delicious. I have some naan. I forgot to like bake my naan all week, so I can have my naan now. Naan for me, naan for you. Good night.